Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about maracas. But before I get started with anything else, I do have to address the giveaway that I announced in the showers episode a little while back. Thanks to everyone who took the time to enter, emailing me with the word of the day from that episode. And as always, I have randomly selected a winner. So congratulations, Bella. Be sure to check your email. You should have that $50 gift card showing up in your email. Now, on with the show, and as always, we're going to start things off by warming up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. Maracas aren't just a kid's toy. They're tools used by Foley artists filling out the soundscape in movies, and percussion instruments employed in orchestral arrangements. But would you believe that for a maraca to be considered concert grade or professionally tuned, they must contain a specific number of seeds to correspond to different notes or tones? The idea is that these specific counts prevent harmonic interference and keep the rhythm from sounding muddy during a performance. What do you think? Are there really bean counters tuning maracas with mathematical precision? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is idiophone. That's I-D-I-O-P-H-O-N-E. Idiophones are musical instruments that create sounds primarily by the vibration of the instrument itself without the use of air, strings, or vibrating membranes like a drumhead. When you shake a maraca, the entire body of the instrument vibrates as the internal pellets strike the outer shell, making the whole object the source of the music. The word idiophone comes from ancient Greek. It combines idios, meaning one's own or self, and phone, meaning voice or sound. Essentially, an idiophone is an instrument that has its own voice built into the very substance. This category is one of the four main divisions in the original horn-bolster sax system of musical instrument classification. Beyond maracas, the idiophone family would include other self-sounding instruments like bells, xylophones, and the triangle. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about maracas. Number 1. The maraca was originally invented by the indigenous Taíno people of the Caribbean as a sacred tool for communicating with the spirits. While we often associate maracas with fun, rhythmic music, for the Taíno, the maraca was a powerful instrument wielded by the Boetís or shaman. During important religious rituals known as Cohoba ceremonies, the Boetís would shake a single maraca to summon the semis, the ancestral spirits or deities that governed nature. The rhythmic, steady pulsing of the seeds wasn't just background noise. It was believed to be a sort of sonic bridge that helped the shaman enter a trance state, allowing them to cross over into the spiritual realm to seek guidance or protection for the tribe. The significance of the maraca lay in its perceived power to give the spirits a physical voice. The intricate carvings often seen on the shells weren't just for show, they represented specific deities, effectively turning the instrument into a temporary home for the spirit during the rite. Because the sound was thought to drive away negative energy, the maraca was also a vital tool in medicinal ceremonies. The Boetís would shake the maraca over a sick person to vibrate the illness out of the body. So you might say the maraca was one of the world's earliest forms of sound therapy. Number 2. Authentic maracas are traditionally gendered pairs consisting of a male and female instrument. In traditional Latin American percussion, a set of maracas is not two identical instruments played together. They're actually tuned differently to create a complex, layered sound. It's known as a macho or male and hembra female pair. The macho maraca usually has fewer seeds or pebbles inside, which gives it a lower pitch and a more distinct thump. The hembra maraca has more filler, resulting in a much higher pitch and a faster, shimmering sound. This distinction is crucial in genres like salsa, cumbia, and son cubano because it allows the player to create polyrhythms. The higher-pitched hembra maraca often creates the steady drive of the beat, while the lower-pitched macho maraca provides the accents. Having two different voices in their hands, a percussionist can sound like an entire drum section. Number 3. The fruit used to make traditional maracas comes from the calabash tree, which is famous for its cannonball fruit. The Crescentia cujete, or calabash tree, is a botanical wonder that produces the perfect raw material for a musical instrument. The fruit grows directly out of the trunk and main branches of the tree, looking like a large green bowling ball hanging in the air. When these fruits are young, they're soft, but as they ripen and dry, the outer skin transforms into a hard, woody shell. This shell is incredibly strong to withstand being shaken thousands of times, but it's also very lightweight. Interestingly, the seeds of the calabash fruit itself are rarely used as the rattles inside the instrument. Instead, makers often use capacho seeds, which come from a specific type of tropical canna lily. They use these seeds because they're perfectly round, very hard, and don't break down into dust over time. The combination of the calabash shell and the canna seeds creates a crisp, dry sound that plastic alternatives struggle to replicate. Number 4. In the 18th and 19th centuries, maracas were sometimes crafted from solid silver as a high-status luxury item for European aristocrats. During the era of maritime trade and colonial expansion, the maraca traveled from the Caribbean to Europe, where it became a high society curiosity. Because the traditional gourd versions were seen as, we'll say, rustic, wealthy European aristocrats would sometimes commission master silversmiths to create ornate maracas made of precious metals. These were often decorated with intricate family crests, floral patterns, and even small jewels. And they were used during formal balls or as expensive gifts for children. As you might guess, these silver maracas sounded quite different from the traditional wooden ones, producing a much brighter and more metallic ring when shaken. While they weren't used in professional orchestras at that time, they were seen as a symbol of status and worldliness. Today, these antique metal maracas are pretty rare and they're often found in museum collections or at high-end auctions. It's just amazing how what today seems like a relatively simple folk instrument has gone on this amazing journey from its early roots as a religious object to basically a piece of fine art. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: in Venezuela and Colombia, some of the highest quality maracas are made of animal hide rather than wood. While gourd maracas are the most common, the Llanero style of music in Venezuela often uses maracas made from stretched rawhide. To make these, the leather is soaked until soft, stretched over a spherical mold, and then allowed to dry until it becomes rock hard and resonant. These hide maracas are prized for their incredibly sharp and loud crack, which can be heard over loud harps and guitars. They're often smaller than gourd maracas, allowing for lightning-fast hand movements. The craftsmanship required for hide maracas is intense because the leather has to be uniform in thickness to ensure a balanced sound. If one side is thicker than the other, the instrument will wobble in the air and produce an uneven rhythm. Because the leather is organic, it actually ages and the sound can improve over decades of play as the material settles. And so these instruments are often passed down through generations of musicians as prized heirlooms. Now for some news you can use. If you ever find yourself picking up a pair of maracas, here's a little pro tip. Remember, it's all in the wrist, not the arm. Most beginners shake their entire arm back and forth, which creates a sloshing sound because the seeds inside are just sliding around. To get that crisp, professional pop, you should hold the maraca at a slight angle and use a sharp, snapping motion with your wrist, almost like you're trying to flick water off your fingertips. This technique forces all the seeds to hit the top of the shell at the exact same time, resulting in a clean, rhythmic click sound. Practice doing this downward snap on the beat, and you'll sound like a pro in no time. And taking up the maraca is not just a great way to work on your rhythm skills and help you feel the music, you might also feel the burn. It's a great workout. Some sports scientists have compared the repetitive motion of a maraca player to the movements of a professional tennis player. The constant flicking motion engages the small muscles in the hand and the wrist while also working the biceps and the shoulders. And that's why many professional percussionists actually do specific stretching routines before a show to avoid maraca-related fatigue. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if professional maracas have to contain a specific number of seeds to correspond to musical tones. Well, this one's a fallacy. While the macho and hembra maracas do have different amounts of filler to create distinct higher and lower pitches, they aren't tuned to specific notes like a piano or a flute. More filler will generally result in a higher pitch. This happens because more seeds or beads have less open space inside the gourd. With less room to travel, the seeds strike the walls more frequently and with less lag, creating a denser, higher frequency shimmer. On the other hand, fewer seeds would allow for more air resonance and a deeper thump. The size and thickness will also impact the sound. Generally, a bigger maraca will have a deeper sound and a smaller one will have a higher pitch. Thinner walls on the maraca will be more resonant and louder because the thinner walls vibrate more easily. Percussionists look for a specific texture of sound, either dry or wet, rather than a middle C or a G sharp. But most traditional makers aren't going to be counting the seeds at all, because the specific number doesn't really matter so much as the weight and the volume. They add handfuls and tune the instrument by ear until the relative pitch between the pair just feels right. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about maracas with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.